How's it going guys, Chris here, and this time around we're going to be checking out those new enemies in Atomic Heart's Annihilation Instinct DLC. So the first enemy type you're going to run into is a pretty creepy looking mannequin thing called the M4D5, aka the Dummy X. No, they've not been named by Elon Musk, but they're actually experimental prototypes for a new security robot, designed to guard the Mendeleev complex that you'll spend your time running around within the DLC. Because the Dummy X is just a prototype, they're still in their puppet form, though this definitely doesn't mean they shouldn't be underestimated, still being able to do what they were designed to do quite well. The dummies are going to attack up close, using quite a lot of different melee lunges and hard-hitting kicks, being surprisingly agile and durable, despite looking like something that would fall apart if it was pushed over. Down to their robotic inner structure, this lets them extend those limbs and reach out to smack you around from a further distance, along with those arms whizzing around as they charge at you over range. A lot of those strikes can knock you down and dish out the damage, though aside from trying to slap you around in close quarters, the dummies have also got a few tricks up their sleeves to help keep them in the fight and attack you unexpectedly. Sometimes, although you'll seemingly obliterate one into pieces, they might be able to reassemble themselves, eerily summoning those lost limbs, magnetizing them back into place to take you on once again. Pretty creepy stuff. They can also weaponize this magnetic ability too, turning their limbs into launch projectiles which can then be drawn back to the dummy like boomerangs. This lets them take you on over range, with their arms and legs hovering and whirling around in the air, injuring you if you walk into them, but at the same time making the Dummy X more vulnerable up close, down to its limbs being elsewhere. And with all these different ways to attack, you can be sure that these enemies are going to keep you on your toes, being more effective in combat than you'd probably expect. Another enemy you're going to see quite a lot of is the BEA-D, or BEA-D, something that actually plays quite a big role in the DLC's plot, with coloured ones having control algorithms built into them that need to be captured and fed into the ports dotted around the system. Now these are essentially ball-shaped robots with retractable legs, allowing them to roll or dash around to move across the area. You'll tend to find quite a few of these guys gathered around together, taking turns to dash in with close-range melee strikes, whizzing around to hit you with those retractable legs, also using them to kick out and knock you down to the floor, before rolling away and retreating to let their buddies take over. Despite using a lot of quick spinning attacks up close, the head components are also fitted with lasers, which lets them zap you over distance, at the expense of being temporarily immobile and easier to hit with your own gunfire. And because there's often quite a few beads around, teaming up with each other, you can expect fights to get pretty hectic, though the heads do act as weak spots, so it's best aiming for those whenever you can to take them out quicker. Sometimes easier said than done, when they're all darting around all over the place in a mass frenzy, bombarding you with loads of different attacks. But probably the BEA-D's best party trick is to combine itself to other BEA-Ds in the area, literally by shoving its head up the other one's ass, creating a singular unit, which gives them more power and strength together, plus makes them a bit more awkward to kill, with you now having to break them apart first before you can wipe them out for good. When two BEA-Ds join together, this grants them a whole new array of attacks, having twice as many legs to hit you with as they spin around and zoom towards you, being able to leap further through the air, having a better height advantage, and generally attack you more ferociously, with moves that are trickier to dodge. You're going to need to specifically target those connecting points to break the BEA-D's chain, separating them back into two individual components, which can then be destroyed one by smashing up those weak points. Fairly simple. To maximise their efforts in the fight, BEA-D's going to even sometimes triple up, with three of them combining together to switch up their attack patterns even more. This basically transforms them into a deadly robotic caterpillar, a completely new enemy type which functions quite differently than before, now being a lot bulkier, heavier and less agile, but being better optimised for range, due to their power reserves being combined, giving them access to stronger energy-based attacks. The BEA-D in its triple formation might not be able to dive around the area quite as fast as its other variants, though you'll still need to watch out for it swinging its body around to give you a good whack up close. You'll now mainly need to watch out for all the stuff it tries to hit you with over range instead, having an even more powerful laser attack with 3 times the power of the standard BEA-D, emitting a huge red beam of doom from the caterpillar's backside. Plus the triple BEA-D can also lob electrical mines, which hover around stubbornly in the area, creating little death traps, which zap you if you wander on through them. Hitting those connecting points between each BEA-D is going to separate them, allowing you to destroy each one in their less advanced individual forms. Well, when they've been disconnected from the others, that is. Just when you thought the BEA-Ds couldn't get any more bloody friendly with each other, a big bunch of them can all link up together to form a gigantic bulking menace called the Colossus BEA-D. essentially Annihilation Instinct's main boss enemy, which towers over you in a good old-fashioned arena-style fight to the death. The Colossus bead comprises of more beads that I can be bothered to count, taking the shape of a giant humanoid form, standing on two stilt-like legs with two long wavy arms, all made up of those beads of course. A big difference between the Colossus and the other variants though is the way its weak spots are fully protected from disconnecting, allowing the monster to keep its form despite getting hit on those joined up links. Baiting the boss bead under one of those chandeliers and shooting it is a decent way to deal chunks of damage as it crashes down on top of its head, though you'll mainly have to shoot those glowing connecting points dotted all over its arms, which are going to chip away each arm's individual health bar, eventually severing the arms to move the fight along, with the fight basically being set up in 3 phases. The first phase mainly consists of you dashing around like a madman trying to avoid the Colossus bead's fired projectiles over range, along with its arm swipes and kicks up close, often charging over, constantly attempting to try and flatten you. It'll slam its arms into the ground, create massive explosive shockwaves on the floor, and generally try to make your life a bit of a misery, while you try your best to land shots on those waving arms. Nice little tip for you, which I only figured out after fighting this guy: just focus on one arm at a time, because he's just going to replenish health for the other bar in the next phase anyway. Destroying an arm will then cause the fragmented beads to come charging at you, which once dealt with allows the Colossus to rise again and take you on for round 2. With one arm down, this gives you something easier to focus fire on, but although the Colossus still likes to use a lot of similar attacks to before, it's also going to throw a few new ones into the mix, launching new energy bombs which zap you in close proximity, also using powerful laser cannons that sweep around the area. Once you've dodged enough of its bombs, avoided its slams, and whittled that health down enough, you'll then need to take on another wave of bead minions, which then triggers one final round with the big guy, now being called the third arm. You can probably guess what part of the anatomy this is a reference to. Well, you can expect the Colossus to swing that third arm around, slapping the floor between its legs, generally feeling like a true boss. And you can also expect it to use a lot of the same attacks as before, attacking you in a very aggressive nature. While jumping away from those heavy slams, you'll need to keep blasting away at those glowy bits along the third arm to chip away at that health bar. And once enough damage is done, all you'll need to do is just finish off that last wave of bead minions, and then you're all done and dusted. Colossus will try and get up again for one more round, but don't worry, he's just being a troll. Oh, and before I wrap this guide up, I should probably show off the Goose. Not exactly a proper enemy type, there's still something that's going to attack you if you get too close for comfort, only to then dash off into the wilderness, never to be seen again, probably off to steal someone's hat. If you happen to know why there's a random ass Goose in the DLC, fire away in the comments and let me know what that's all about. I'm sure this guy's probably got some sort of backstory or something. Anyway, that's it for this one guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know you did by hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, be sure to check out my guide on all of the enemies and bosses in Atomic Heart's main campaign, which you'll be able to find on my channel, along with a bunch of other guides too of course. Thanks for watching, take it easy, and I'll be seeing you in that next one.